Damaged Goods Podcast.
It's crazy that, like, I'm in LA and you're in Hawaii, and Hawaii's like tropics, baby. And I just harken back, you like that word, harken? I harken back to this visual memory I have of you, me, some of my homies from Boston on the beach in Rhode Island. And my friend Donny Goines, a very New York-y thing to do. You had sandals on. We all have slides on, but my man also has the socks on. And one of my man is like, I think it was my man Touch, especially like, yo, Donny, why you got the socks on, Donny? And now you're in fucking Hawaii, so it's you on full beach.
I still wear socks. I can't help it.
Dude, I haven't worn shoes with laces in like a year.
That's wild. Honestly speaking, like, I love that, by the way. That's such a cool story. One of my favorite weekends of all time, by the way. Thank you for that experience. Oh, but I'll say, like, for me personally, I don't know. I think I'm just a New Yorker or a city guy by nature. So it's like when I go to different places, it's just hard for me to sort of to get in that vibe. I can't really, I don't know.
Man, I know, man. That super New Yorker energy is my man. He's my guest on Damaged Goods this week. This is a gentleman who we used to share the same management. We used to travel, play music together in shows and all over. And he was even roommates for a minute. This is my man, Donny Goines. He's he works in the cannabis business, in the marketing business. Used to be, or is this the wrong word? Hip hop artist, recording artist.
I used to be a professional recording artist.
Same here, dude.
Now I just do art, and I just do stuff for fun. I don't really do it professional terms.
And how much more do you enjoy it?
Way better. You know what I'm saying? Like, way better. Like, I'm gonna tell you, like, to be honest, in many ways, I felt like my career was great and I had like a good run and I did like a lot of great things. But realistically speaking, it wasn't my vibe. The energy wasn't my vibe. The people wasn't my vibe. Just the kind of like lifestyle, like everything people were into, it just really wasn't for me. So like, even though like I was making great strides and I was doing a lot of good things, realistically, I just never felt like I fit in. And then the pressure that was like put on me for something I was doing for fun, I just was kind of like, yeah, this is kind of whack. You know what I'm saying? So I basically fell back. That was one of the biggest reasons why I fell back.
I mean, everybody who gets into music initially, before it's your career, it's just your passion, it's for fun, right? That's why you, me, and anyone that picks up a guitar, a mic, sits behind the keys, it's for fun. And then maybe you get good, and then you get ambitions and dreams and hopes and all these beautiful things, and then you want to get into it, and then you're in it, and then you're like making a career out of it. But somewhere along that path, no matter who you are, you've left it just being for fun, and now it's more about sustaining your life, your career, maybe getting bigger. There's a lot that comes with that I don't think any of us are ready for. I certainly wasn't.
I wasn't ready for it. I definitely wasn't ready for it. Go ahead, continue your thought. I got thoughts on that too.
It kind of changed.
Let me just tell you, let me just tell you, I agree with you. I don't think nobody's prepared for that lifestyle. I think like they think they prepared, but until you actually in it, until you dealing with the stressors and you dealing with situations, that's really when you know if it's for you or not.
Yeah, man. It changes your relationship with the art. And Donny and I were talking about when we were in music, any art form, but it changed my relationship with art to the point, and tell me if this is something you found in your experience, where I wasn't having as much fun. It was all about work. And if I did do a good show or an album or a song or got a good review, it was like I did a good job, but I wasn't like always satisfied. In fact, I was feeling less and less satisfaction.
That's such a real thing right there. I felt like exactly the same way, and magnified in a lot of ways too, because, you know, for me at the time, like I'd say, I'm trying to paint a picture for people, you know, like I'd say late 2011, early 2012, like I'm killing it. Like I'm like, my songs are everywhere. I got an ill album out, sponsored by Rockaware, got huge features, you know what I'm saying? Like Killer Mike, Bun B, Just Blaze, etc. You know, absolutely killing as an independent artist. MTV, BT support, all of that. And I go to Atlanta, like I'm living in a penthouse out there. I'm chilling, you know what I'm saying? Like, but at the same time, it wasn't chill. It was more like I had to like maintain this lifestyle now of being like, you know, this rapper. And now like I'm in Atlanta, I'm in a different city, and I'm just feeling like wild pressures, like from every different angle. Like, you know, oh, you just dropped the album. I need you to drop an album now. I need you to do this again. I need to do this. And I'm just like, damn, I just dropped the album. Yeah, I'm just, you know what I mean? Like, I'm like, it's not even fun to me anymore. It's like literally like I'm doing it as like a sustainability thing. It's like the next album is gonna pay my rent, it's gonna pay my bills for the next 6 months. So I need to do an album, or I need to whatever. And to me, that was not why I got in it. It just was not why. So it started to change my viewpoint totally.
Yeah, man. I mean, my experience, and I've talked about it a lot. So listeners, if you hear me fucking repeating myself like an old man, apologies. But Donny has heard it. My reasoning was like I felt very I felt there was a lot of disingenuous energy around me. Not to say that I lost track of myself. I wasn't being genuine to myself and my passions either. But I felt like it was almost inescapable. And maybe that's my fault, who I surrounded myself with. But I felt like it was anywhere in the industry. I couldn't go out. You got to go to networking events. I felt like my soul was being fucking sucked out of me by some vicious sewer monster.
Exactly.
And, it really ruined it for me. I don't know if, I mean, some people, everyone has a different, like, you know, feelings about the industry, but did you feel anything like that from the greater energy of the industry?
Can I just say, like, first off, I'm probably gonna like either echo or touch on or completely agree with everything you say.
Perfect, dude.
I'm just telling you, like, right now ahead of time for you and your listeners, because like, again, we were in it. Like, they don't really know because they're not in it a lot of times. They don't really know what's happening, you know? So like for me, I tell people, like, I used to go to parties, like 3-4 parties a night, like running around, like flying around, doing this different stuff, trying to talk and network and be with people and cool, you know what I'm saying? And then it's like the people that you are trying to like actually be cool with and genuine with and share the art with, they there for a look. They there just to like, you know, get their name buzzing. They want to be on a blog, or they want a feature, or they want some kind of money, or they want some kind of angle. And I'm just like, damn, this is really lame. You know, like I just wasn't feeling it. So like, you know, as I started to become more successful, I think like more people do, you distance yourself from, you know, everyone else, because you're like, I don't want this. This energy and attention is too much, and it's not genuine, and it doesn't feel good. And then you know, for me, that's realistically what led into my depression. And that was a hard one, because I just couldn't fathom, you know, like dealing with it anymore professionally. You know what I'm saying?
So like, had you, I hated that I just said like, so like, there's a listener out there counting all the fucking likes I say. Did you ever experience what you knew as depression before that? Like, you know, okay, so what this was
yeah, we're gonna sidetrack and we're gonna double back to it as well, because I think it all plays a part, right? So the funny thing, interestingly enough, you have played a major part in my life in many ways, actually. You specifically, I'm gonna tell you why. I know I probably said it in the past, but I don't know. I mentioned you in a lot of my interviews that I've done about this. Like, the bottom line is, when we were living together, I remember like I was in a very like depressive state at one point at that time. And I remember like I wasn't eating at one time. I was in a room. I was just kind of chilling and da-da-da. And I'll never forget it. You came to me one day and you was like, yo, you know, I was telling you, I got these headaches and da-da-da. You was like, you should probably go see somebody. And like at the time when you said that to me, I was like, that's the first time, by the way, anybody ever said that to me. So I was just kind of like, what does he mean? Like, I was like, what is he talking about? But then I'm thinking about it and I'm like, well, maybe he's right. You know what I'm saying? And I literally took that opportunity. That was the first time I ever went to a psychiatrist or to a doctor and was like, listen, you know, I feel X, Y, and Z. Can you tell me what's happening with me? And that was the start of my mental health journey. So like, that was literally around 2000, I think 9, 10-ish, you know, one of those years.
I mean, that's, till somebody said the same thing to me, it never occurred to me either. And I was having issues and problems and I didn't know what they were. And I didn't know what you do about it. So I was just eating that for a long time.
Bingo.
God, dude, the light coming from out there makes the right side of my face look, I mean, I'm white, but it looks way white. I mean, this shit is white. But
it's all right.
You know, I think for like certain people, maybe for where you're from or where you're at, there isn't anybody showing you there's a path.
Or telling you, and it's a stigma on top of that. And being a man, if you're a man and you come from certain environments and certain situations, you told to suck it up. You told to like not complain. You told to not talk about it. But the reality is we should talk about it. We should speak about it. We should be open. We should talk to our friends, therapists, people. I just got a new therapist to like this week. You know what I'm saying? Literally. You know,
I need to do one right now myself.
yeah, you know, I mean, I'm really serious about my mental health, and that's why I had to separate myself from the music industry, because I had to make a choice. I had to say, like, what's more important to me, success or my mental health? And realistically speaking, my mental health is going to win that race, and my spirituality and my journey and my path will always be more important than what these trinkets of success people deem, you know?
And it should be. And that's a really hard choice to make. And you got to think there's probably a lot of guys who were in the same position who could have, you know, made that choice. And they say, look, all the stuff I've worked for.
It froze. I'm my bad. It said, you said there was a lot of guys and it froze.
The audio's still going good.
Okay, go ahead. Say what you said. Say it again, brother.
And like, you know, the choice to leave a career that's building success to go and further your mental health. A lot of people wouldn't leave that because
they wouldn't.
So hard. I got all this momentum. I'm going to throw it all away. And I think later down the line, they'd pay the price for that. You know?
And I'm going to tell you something. To be honest, walking away from the music industry was one of the best decisions I ever made for my life and my mental health and my stability as a person. But realistically, I became sort of caught up in that industry and caught up in my work and caught up in what was happening. And, you know, you ever heard that expression, do not stare too deeply into the abyss or you become a monster yourself, something to that effect?
Yeah.
That's how I was feeling. It was feeling almost like if I stood here, I was either going to become them or going to succumb to them. So it was like one of the two. I was like, okay, Donny, you know, what do you want to do here? What's more important to you? You know, like I said at the time, keep in mind, I made a real conscious decision. Like I'm literally, and I knew it because 2012, like I said, I'm in this penthouse. Like I'm averaging like wild money a month. I'm like banking, I'm killing it. And I remember just sitting there by myself, like in the bedroom, like reading like Red Hot Chili Peppers, Anthony Kiedis, Scar Tissue. Like I remember reading his book by myself, and I was just like so depressed and miserable. And I was like, yo, I don't know if I can do this, yo. I'm like, it was crazy.
I mean,
yeah, so I made that choice.
That's a tough one. Like, I know when I stopped wanting to be a recording artist, I think I was blaming individuals for that energy and all that shit because I needed someone to blame because maybe I don't want to blame myself. But I think over time I looked at it more like you were describing it, that it was like it's an entity, it's a monster, it's an abyss. It's not the individuals within its fault, but it's if you're in it long enough, you become that, you know? Oh, did I lose you, Donny?
And I don't hear you.
I got you again, player. There we go.
Okay, cool. So to pick up on that thought, really quick, it's interesting because like, and I kind of lost it, so I hope I paraphrase it the right way. But we tend to want to blame others and not take accountability for things. And I know as I was on the way out, like I said, I was suffering. My exact diagnosis, to be clear, is generalized anxiety disorder, secondary to severe depression. So that's my exact diagnosis. Once that was discovered, you know, like around 2010, we started to like medicine. I started to take, you know, whatever, medicine, Zoloft, etc., blah, blah. And that worked for a while. That sort of worked for a moment. And then, you know, the pills just became not enough. And I needed more pills and more prescriptions and more different things. And the stress that I was having and the medicine that I was taking, the therapy I was taking, they weren't matching. The stress was just way too heavy for me. And I was trying to sort of like even out, but I couldn't. So I was lashing out at the end of the day. I was getting pissed off. I couldn't know how to control my anxiety. I didn't know how to control my anger. I literally was drugged up. People don't even really know that. Like I was drugged up, like, but not in the way that you would think. It was more about, because like I didn't know at the time. I didn't understand those pills and the effect and what they would do.
That's heavy shit, man. I was on a lot of the same stuff. It's heavy stuff, man.
Yeah, exactly. So what I say, I have to say this is like, despite all of that, you know, I became a monster in my pursuit. You know, everything was more about like, I didn't care if I had to pop more pills or if I had to like diss somebody or if I had to like go whatever. I didn't care at that point. I was just like, screw everybody, screw this, screw that. You fake, I don't care, whatever. And if you got a problem, see me. You know what I'm saying? So it was like, yeah, it was that type of vibe. So I blame myself too. It was really, yeah.
You know, like something one of my therapists taught me about anger and anxiety, because I was feeling a lot of the time, I still have this problem. I would get anxious, very anxious, you know, anxiety is taking over me. And instead of feeling like shit, like butterflies in your stomach, I would get really angry. Like fly off the handle. And a therapist explained the reason I was doing that was, you know, when you're experiencing anxiety, you're not in control. This thing takes over.
Bingo.
Yeah. So if you become angry, now you're exerting control back over yourself. So it's the only way to feel in control, but yet you're becoming violent. You could hurt somebody else.
You're out of control. Yeah, you're still in control.
I always thought that was an interesting thing. When I learned that, I realized why I would sometimes get more anxious about how angry I was going to get. And I wasn't necessarily scared of the other person. I was scared of what I was going to do. You know?
And then it becomes a loophole, a feedback loop. You become more anxious because of your anger. Then your anger builds. Then you become more anxious, and so on and so forth. It's crazy. Like, literally, my therapist told me the same thing. And that's another thing. Like, a lot of these guys in the music industry, they talk a certain lifestyle, but like, they don't really come from that lifestyle. And like, not only did I like play down my lifestyle in certain ways, but I also knew, like, once I couldn't control my anxiety, the same thing you said, I literally used to walk around these parties thinking to myself, yo, I should just slap this dude. It's just like straight up, no cap, no nothing. Just thinking to myself in my head, like, you know, no reason either too, just like pissed, you know what I'm saying? But then it's like, it's the anxiety though, you mad, you just angry, like, you know what I'm saying? And then you need an outlet for that. So I knew, I was like, yo, this is gonna become a problem. And I really need to like sit back and like fall back and like really talk to a therapist, talk to whomever, and try to get my mind right. And that's what led my journey, you know?
So one thing I noticed that you probably do for self-care, but it's also like your business. Like I mentioned earlier, you work in the cannabis business. Mm-hmm. How did you, because when we were roommates, and even when we were both just playing music and running in the same circles,
no weed.
I was chain smoking weed. I mean, still at, you know, but you weren't. And you were around me and all my hooligan friends, and just like weed smoke floating like napalm clouds. And you, but now that you are, not only are you smoking weed, but you this is like your livelihood.
I love it.
What path led you to that path? What happened?
Let me tell you the after effect, right? Like, so the after story. So like, you kind of like, when I decided to fall back from music, then I started to think about my life in general and how I felt and like how my body is and et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. So first it kind of started with like spirituality. I started like, you know, I'm not gonna dive too deep into that. I started like praying, finding things, whatever, etc.
I'm all about that shit.
Okay, beautiful. You know what I'm saying? Love and blessings to you then, my brother. You know what I'm saying? Because like, I'm very much a spiritual being. So that's where I am now. But with that being said, I wanted to get away from the medicine that I was just talking about, the pharmaceuticals. I wanted a holistic approach. I wanted something different. And just to be clear, I want to paint a picture for people to try to understand so they can see where my head was at. I was taking, and just like I said, at the height of my career, 200 milligrams of Zoloft, like I'd say 5 to like 8 grams a day of, not grams, 5 to 8 what is the one? It's like not the mega gram, or the pill, whatever, grams of Klonopin.
I was on those at night. Terrible.
Yeah, I'm taking Klonopin. Then I'm taking Tramadol. Then I'm taking 50 grams of Ambien to go to sleep. Yo, it was ridiculous. Like, I was overloaded with pills, you know what I'm saying? So it was like, it was crazy. You know, like, I literally, to be honest and to be real, I can't even remember most of the years because of that. I don't even remember most of the things, you know what I'm saying? So like, if I've ever, by the way, if anybody sees it, if I've ever insulted you or just like crazy or whatever, I apologize. I'm so sorry, you know what I'm saying? But anyway, getting back to the weed, you know, so like, again, trying to find a holistic approach. So somebody, after I weaned myself off of all the medications, by the way, I had side effects, huge side effects from pharmaceuticals.
Yes.
I started having seizures. I gained 100 pounds. It made me like, I can't remember nothing. I was like a walking zombie. It was terrible. So after like getting myself off of that and then just being sober for a while, I still had the anxiety. I still had the depression. I still had the problems. So I was like, what am I supposed to do? What am I supposed to do? And realistically, again, funny enough, nobody said anything to me until like one day somebody was like, yo, why don't you just smoke a blunt? Literally, like, I mean, it was so simple. They was like, I was like, yo, I'm stressed out. My mind is going crazy, da, da, da. And he was like, yo, why don't you try to smoke? So I did. And all of a sudden, I just started laughing and I felt very calm. I felt very chill. And I was like, damn. I was like, why didn't nobody like make me think of this? Like, why didn't nobody offer this to me instead of the pills? Why didn't nobody like tell me about this as a solution to actually like, you know, whatever. So from there, that's when I started to like really research and like look into it. And I said, okay, I'm going to go ahead and really dive into this like I do any other business. And I studied it. I researched it because I'm using it. And that led my journey to where I am today, which is essentially like an owner of a boutique marketing agency called Cann.Creative. And I work with a lot of different dispensaries and companies, et cetera, doing photography, marketing, designs, such as like this t-shirt. I don't know if you can really see it, but you know, whatever. You see it? I know you can really see it. But yeah, so, you know, whatever, one of my designs. But anyway, yeah, cannabis is such a positive thing, a positive substance, a positive lifestyle thing, positive everything, and I advocate for it as well. So like for me, I can't speak highly enough of it. It's one of the things that really changed my perspective and helped me to maintain my mental health and my sanity.
Yeah, man. I mean, you said a lot of things right there that I was gonna bring up anyway. So I'm so glad you touched on them. Like, and going back to what you were saying about earlier, especially about men. And men that come from certain environments, talking about shit is just not been welcome. And, you know, I'm sure you might be aware of these statistics. I mean, it's like 84% of suicides are men.
It's crazy.
And,
it's ridiculous.
And we don't talk about these things. The men in my family, except for me, probably hold that shit in. And some are fine and some it's destroying them. And I remember when I was getting off my medicine, the first time I went cold turkey, which was not good for me. I didn't know. I just didn't want the poison anymore.
I feel you. I feel you.
Problems. And so I got back on it and slowly weaned off of it because one of the side effects that I was experiencing was homicidal, suicidal thoughts.
Oh yeah, it's crazy. People don't understand. I'm listening though.
Strong, and it pushed me to 2 attempts, you know, and I
oh,
you know,
I'm sorry, brother. I didn't know that.
I mean, this is, you know, 7 years ago.
Yeah.
You know, I'm spiritual awakenings. I'm much healthier now, but at the time, it was getting off the medicine was hard. First off, the psychiatrist just kept offering me other things.
More medicine to like get off the medicine.
And my therapist, he was cool. He was like, you know what, dude, you don't need that shit. Just keep coming and talk to me though. And you know, and I was using cannabis and that helped. And like, I feel like if you're a man and you don't feel comfortable enough to come and talk about it, and maybe, I mean, at least the pills are there, if nothing else, but having an open forum and feeling comfortable, because if you bottle that shit up inside, the statistics are not in your favor. And getting away from medication has to be done very delicately. And then transition or finding something like cannabis that could help smooth that transition for you. Important.
Serious. And I'm gonna tell you something, like my transition was horrible. I mean, so I'm gonna tell you, it felt like, I'm gonna be honest, like, because I said I'm spiritual, I felt like I followed the path that God set out for me. So like I decided these trinkets of the earth were just not important to me. So I was like, whatever. So as I was moving through the journey, you know, like you said, taking different medicine to get off the medicine I was on. Like I had to take Seroquel to get off of the Zoloft, which was insane. And then it made me gain literally 100 pounds. I went from 160 pounds to 250 pounds. Like it was like night and day. You know what I'm saying?
How did you come to lose that weight?
It took me years. It took me years. And I mean, I ain't gonna go in specifics of like the whole thing, but I'm vegan now. I've been vegan for 8 years. I'm not vegan. By the way, I'm not vegan for complete diet reasons, though. But go ahead.
Okay, I'm not going to judge you for being vegan. Bro. Whatever makes you a better version of somebody, dude. If you want to eat leather or you want to, I don't care, dude.
I'm glad. I appreciate that. I will say, like, I'm a bit of softy these days. You know what I'm saying? So, like, for me, I'm a vegan because of animal cruelty reasons. I'm not a fan. You know what I'm saying? So, like, whatever that. It is what it is. But I say that to say this. that also helped me to lose the weight. Becoming a vegan helped me to transition. And then like, when I was like, sort of like away from the public eye and trying to like do different things, I started to like, one of the biggest things I picked up was entrepreneurship. And I'm not gonna get all like, left field with things, but the bottom line is I got an investment. I had a bunch of equipment, and one of the equipments I had was a camera. And I just would like take this camera and I would just walk around New York City. And I just literally would just walk for hours. I mean, 250 pounds. It was just heavy as hell. But at first, it's just slow at first, right? But then you start doing it. And then the photo camera, because of my anxiety, I was thinking about working out, so I couldn't work out. But then when the photo made me not think about the walking. So then I would walk further and I would walk further and I would move faster, and et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. And then like without I knew it, with a year or 2 years, I got back to my normal weight.
Yeah, man. I commend you, because dude, losing weight is a tough thing for anybody, even if it's 5 pounds. But then when you know people that have lost 40, 50,
it's heavy.
80, 100. Like,
100 pounds is heavy.
That's mind-blowing to me.
Yeah, it's crazy.
To do it is fucking.
I could have still fought fat boy status. I could have chilled to that. I looked like a little Buddha. I used to be like
I shame myself too much to like let myself get fat.
But I can't. I can't
beat
do
myself
it.
up so hard. And then I like today, dude, I felt like shit this morning, didn't sleep, kind of sick. I made myself work out by being like, you fucking lazy fucking shit.
Yeah, no, you gotta push this.
It's not healthy, but it works for me.
You gotta push yourself. I feel you. And don't get me wrong, I'm on the same vibe. I hear you.
I don't recommend that for most people, but just I can't help it. It's already there, so I use it to my advantage. I diet and exercise is way better.
No, but I will say though, like if you struggle with weight or you struggle with anxiety, you struggle with anything, you hit on a good point. And in your own way, it's about like psyching yourself up. It's about like really like hyping yourself up. So like, for example, when I wanted to become an artist, I remember literally watching a documentary, like, right? I remember seeing a documentary and like, I'm thinking to myself, I'm like, yo, it was a Jay-Z joint, it was a Fade to Black. Oh, and I said, yo, I was like, I'm gonna be a rapper. And then 5 years later, literally, I'm performing in like his office. I'm performing in like the what is that clothing thing? His office. He's there, which is crazy. You know what I'm saying? And I'm like, so I like in my mind, I'm like, yo, it's insane what you can like put your mind to, and then just like, you know what I'm saying? And I was just like, damn, that's crazy, because like, and again, I could have kept going and going further and further and further, but I also felt like, for me, to be honest, I hit my mark at that time. And I think that's another thing. A lot of people set unrealistic goals. So it was like, when I gained 100 pounds, I'm psyching myself to lose it, but I'm not psyching myself to be like, yo, I'm gonna be some sort of fashion model and all that, whatever. I just wanna like get in shape. So it was like, just to be healthy. So like, I'm setting realistic and positive goals, not all these outlandish and crazy things. And I think that's the problem. People want to lose 100 pounds in three months. I mean, what are you kidding me? You know what I'm saying? Like,
the fast way, bro. Like, that's why I eat pills, right? Rather than like work on yourself and go to shit. It's give me this pill. I want to lose weight. Give me that. I want to look different. Doctor, fucking use the plastics. Move it around. You want a quick fix, and I don't blame him. Who wouldn't want a quick fix? But generally, the quick fix in the long run ain't gonna do it. It's not good.
That's the thing. And I think to use that term right there, what you just said. A lot of people don't have foresight. A lot of people can't see, certain paths. And it's like, that's one of the things to me that I had to be clear. Like, I grew up a chess player, so I know moves. I practice moves ahead, so I'm looking at things, and it's just like, you are only going to self-destruct if you do certain things. You are only going to fall down a certain path or whatever. I mean, for those who don't know, like, I'm living in Hawaii. I'm chilling, I create for a living. I'm living life. I'm good. You know what I'm saying? Like I'm not, I'm not rich and I'm not some superstar or nothing, but at the same token, I feel healthy. I'm alive. I got good friends. I have a good life. You know what I'm saying? And if more things happen to come besides that, that's great. But realistically speaking, I'm just being happy. And that was what I had to foresee happiness, I'm chasing happiness.
So much more worth it. And sometimes it's hard when you're in something so viciously dedicated like music. You can't see the forest from the trees. And you're not really aware of what is causing your unhappiness. And once I stepped back from it, I was like, shit, dude. Like, I'm an artist, so I'm always going to create and do other shit, much like yourself. but I knew that I didn't want to be part of the music industry as a recording artist. I didn't want to have to pretend anymore. There was so much faking, pretending you like an artist just so no one blackballs you. Like, oh God, I fucking love that I can shit on so much music now on my podcast or my radio.
You can say whatever you want to say. That's my point.
Say, no, we ain't playing that record because that's just. I love that power, dude.
I love that too, and it's beautiful.
It was so weird that I went so long just pretending, liking shit.
Yeah.
I had to play the game. I hated
it. You got to wear a mask, and that's the thing. A lot of people don't realize that. Like, so for me, I'm gonna tell you, like, I don't really like. How can I say this the right way without being like whatever? Like, so wearing a mask, so to speak. I said it earlier in the sense of like downplaying who I was before I got in the music industry. So like before I got in the music industry, if you ask people about me, they're gonna be like, yo, that kid was a wild boy. You know what I'm saying? Like, he was wild. You know what I'm saying? So like when I got in the music industry, it was like, I'm trying to downplay that. I'm not trying to really like show people that, you know what I'm saying? So like as I'm meeting people and as I'm interacting with people, they coming at me with this corny vibe in real life that I would never deal with, you know what I'm saying? And like, and in my mind, I'm like, if we were in a different space in a different time, like I would just tell you, like, get out my face, like just like get away from me, you know what I'm saying? Like straight up, you know what I'm saying? But it's because you're trying to be polite. It's almost like a job. It's like you can't tell your coworker, you can't be like, yo, get out my face, you know what I'm saying? We all in the same job, you know what I'm saying? And unless you want that kind of smoke. And to tell you the truth, at that point, until the end of my career, I wanted that smoke. I was like, whoever. But it's just, it's angry and ego and just all that craziness. But it bothers you. Like, that fakeness, man, is crazy. Like, it's hard. It's hard.
In psychology and shit, they talk about, like, when you have secrets or something you keep a secret, it compounds a level of anxiety within you that you're carrying around everywhere. And when you're in something, say, like the music industry, and you're wearing a mask, like you say, or, you know, having to pretend like you like,
exactly.
It's not necessarily having a secret, but you're in false realities, and you're containing how you really feel. That is a secret, how you really feel about these people or the way music's going or whatever. When you hide that, you carry that stress and anxiety around. It compounds and compounds, it grows and festers until it either destroys you or you blow up on somebody.
That's a good point. That's a really good point. I think, like, for me, that was happening a lot.
To make, Donny, the really good one.
Yeah, that's so real. Like, because I'm going to tell you, that's how I was feeling. Like, it was almost like, and people wasn't even doing nothing wrong. You know what I'm saying? It just was like, I was just like, F it, you a part of this. I don't even care. You know what I'm saying? Like, and just, you know, it's just like that anger. Like when you drink, for example, that's why I don't drink any alcohol. Because if I drink, I get violent. That anybody who knows me knows that. So like, I don't drink. I get belligerent. I get wild. And I don't know if I would be that way now, but I'm never going to experiment or test it. You know what I'm saying?
If you don't have the desire or the inclination to, why do it?
But see, that's the thing, right? It's like, I acknowledge the fact that I have an alcohol problem, and that's not a secret. And people who know that know me. But to most people, they won't know that, yo, this dude is kind of wild. Like, because I present a smile, I present a certain aesthetic. So it's like trying to be a nice guy sometimes in a situation where you don't want to be a nice guy and you normally wouldn't be a nice guy, or you normally would be different, is very difficult. And that's not to say I didn't like a lot of people. I definitely liked a lot of people I met. People were chill, people were cool, whatever, but it was like an overall thing. It wasn't necessarily like one specific person or this or that. It was just like the totality of it. You know what I'm saying?
I found this happen to me, and I talked to another artist who I can't recall who it was on my podcast a long time ago, and they felt the same way. I wonder if this happened for you. When I left being a recording artist, and I still listen to music, obviously, but
I don't listen to nothing current.
Go ahead. Current shit I couldn't listen to for like 2 years. My relationship with music was almost bitter, made bitter, at least with current hip hop. I would listen to other genres of music and old hip hop, but current shit I couldn't listen to for about 2 years. I was so bitter, and I didn't want to admit it to myself.
You want to hear something funny? You want to hear something ironic? You want to hear something crazy? I bet you nobody will believe this when I say this. I bet you nobody can believe what I'm about to say. I've never heard a J. Cole, Kendrick, or Drake album. Never heard any. Not one. Not one. Isn't that crazy? And now I'm gonna tell you something. Like, I have various reasons, but overall, you know what I'm saying? The concept is what you just said. It was like, think about it this way. It's like, imagine working at McDonald's for about 5 years, and all you did 24/7 was just work at McDonald's. You ate all the fries, you ate all the chicken, you ate everything, you did all that stuff, right? Then you retire, and then people come to you and be like, yo, you should try this McDonald's. You should try this McDonald's. You should, new McDonald's and da. And I'm just like, no, I don't want McDonald's. F McDonald's. You know what I'm saying? F this restaurant. F this whole thing. I'm going vegan. You know what I'm saying? That's what it was. It was for real. It was like, I was like, I can't deal with it because my view is tainted. Like, for example, those 3 artists we mentioned, I think they're all great artists. You know what I'm saying? Like, they're all great. And I've heard some of their music here and there, whatever, but it just goes to a point of like being so disgusted with the industry. So like in a place where I don't even care. I can't even listen to the quote unquote greatest artists of our whatever at this time. You know what I'm saying? Cause I'm so disdain with the industry. That's how crazy it is.
Did it ever go away? Like for me, it finally slowly dissipated. I don't listen to like mainstream artists because I never really liked them in the first place. But there's a lot of dope underground shit.
That's a good question.
I like now, and I can enjoy this underground shit because I feel like there's no.
That's a good question. See, for me, like, I'm gonna tell you a secret. Like, and I've always been creating music the whole time, and even like now, like I've been producing, learning, and doing things way different. So it's like I never stopped being an artist. I never stopped creating and having a good time. I just stopped releasing. I just stopped like giving music to blogs and stuff and things like that. I just stopped participating basically. And I always had the passion, but it was like the industry threw me off. So like as I continued with the passion, and then the industry started to fade from me, then my passion came back. Then like for others and like different things and like being a fan again. Like I actually can be a fan now. So like
that's the important part, bro.
You know what I'm saying? So I can be a fan. Like I forgot how to be a fan. You know what I'm saying? Because I was so much being an artist. Everything was just about being like on stage, and everything is like a competition, and everything is this and that. And it was just like, that's not the mindset, So I'm in a great space right now. I feel great. Like I feel like, and again, like I said, I'm not gonna blame anything that I've done, any one action on anything, but it's just many actions I did that was caused on just mental health, my angst, chaos, etc. And yeah, I feel bad that like that situation kind of tainted my viewpoint and love of hip hop. I feel really bad about it all, but I'm slowly getting back to it. Like I love what Griselda's doing, for example. Yeah. They're really dope. J. Cole just dropped something recently. Kudos to him. Whatever. You know what I'm saying? People are dope. I'm just trying to get re-engaged, so to speak, So yeah.
You hit the nail on the head with the stop remembering how to be a fan shit. I think any artist, especially if you're really doing it in your indie career, you lose sight of what it means to be a fan because you're not looking at it as much. I mean, maybe like the Nas's and the Outcasts, you're going to always be a fan of, but anybody that you viewed as a contemporary peer, even if they were more successful than you, it was like competition, or you didn't want to be like them. You didn't want to be a judge to be similar. And you're kind of always looking at it with that lens, and it makes it harder to be a fan of current shit coming out because you're right alongside that, and it's hard to just enjoy the music, and that sucks.
It does. And I'm gonna tell you something. I'm gonna tell you like a random brief thing, and I'm not gonna get into specific details, but I'll just go like to like my concept, right? So I remember like years ago when it come up, I remember there was an artist, who was coming up by the name of J. Cole. And like, I really thought, you know what I'm saying? Like as a fan, I remember like when those years, I used to do things like bars. I used to do like all kind of underground stuff. So like my ear was always to the streets. And I remember even when he was coming up, I was like, yo, this kid is nice. He's going to do something. So like, I remember him coming up and I would really support him in the beginning. You know what I'm saying? I go to his parties. I rock out. You know what I'm saying? Like we chill, talk a little bit. You know what I'm saying? He was a chill dude. You know what I'm saying? But I felt like people would make it seem as if like, for example, like if we was on a blog and we had the same song or something, right? They make it seem like this guy needs to be better because of whatever, or this guy needs to be better, whatever. And it's like, I think he's cool. Like, I like the guy. You know what I'm saying? I think he's going to be great. Why not support him, right? You know what I'm saying? But it's like people want to pit you against people. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, then in your mind, you're thinking, wait, maybe should I not like this guy? Should I not like, you know what I'm saying? Should I not be like, you know what I'm trying to say? But it's interesting to me because I'm like, that's the way the industry makes us feel. And it's like, you know, with J. Cole, like I said, I remember feeling a certain way because I'm thinking like, you know, I'm definitely here. I'm doing my thing, but I'm like, people like making it seem like I should be mad at this guy. Like he's taking my spot, so to speak. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Or like a Kendrick or whatever or something. You know what I'm trying to say? And I'm like, should I be attacking these guys now? Should I be like, you know what I'm trying to say?
But there's
I don't know.
Slot mentality. Like you always feel like there's only so much room for you, and you do feel in this competition. And then I look at the scape of music now, where kids don't have to rely on blogs and tastemakers and magazines.
Yeah, it's so different now. It's so
and
different.
That's why they don't have that feeling of there's only so many slots. Anybody can kind of do it, and you don't have to go through the tastemaker route, which has pluses and minuses. It means anyone can do it, which is good, but it means anyone can do it. So you get a lot of trash out there, you know? There's no gatekeepers, which isn't always a bad thing, but sometimes it has problems. But I think definitely now kids don't feel that competitive with each other because anyone just puts their shit out. You know?
Yeah, no, and that's what I'm saying. It's a different realm. It's like, I remember, like I said, I remember that time period, like, it was crazy because, like, I was, like, one of the kings of the blogs back then. I was like, it was crazy, you know what I'm saying? Like, and anybody who knows me will attest to that. Like, I was dominated, you know what I'm saying? So it was, like, to me, it was wild because people would come to me and be like, yo, da-da-da-da, you know, so-and-so is whatever, but it's only but so many blog posts per day. So it's like, you know what I'm trying to say? It's like you competing with a certain amount of artists and a certain amount of caliber and a certain amount of thing. It's like any kind of like radio playlist. So, but just a different time generation. Like, so it was like strange because I'm like, okay, I need to support people. I need to work with them. I need to whatever. But at the same token, I need to be number one. I need to be on these blogs. I need to be whatever. You know what I'm trying to say? So it was a weird, strange time for me. I didn't know, and that's what I'm saying. My anxiety didn't help me with that either. So
you think about situations like that, having anxiety would be the worst thing to have in those cases because it's already stress-inducing.
And it amplifies it. You know, whatever you're thinking and whatever the situation is, it just amplifies it. And you know, like I said, I don't really negate or feel bad about necessarily anything I've done in my career. I mean, I make decisions, I do things, you know what I'm saying? I got a stellar body of work, in my opinion. I've made great strides, but with all that being said, you know, whether we talking about the music industry, we talking about cannabis industry, we talking about the streets, it's all the same thing to me. If it don't make you happy, it don't make you happy. You know what I'm saying? So like, I don't know. Like, I'm not interested in competing with people now. I'm not interested in like trying to fight for space. I'm not interested in like trying to be the best, quote unquote. I just want to have fun. I want to create. I want to chill. I want to work with. I want to collaborate. I want to smoke a blunt with you. I want, you know what I'm saying? Yeah. Like, let's just pray together. Like, whatever. You know what I'm trying to say?
You feel like the environment, I know you're in Hawaii now. You was in Colorado before, in Atlanta, all after New York. Do you feel like your environments have had any impact on the way you feel?
Huge impact. That's why I travel a lot. You know, I travel and I live different places to see where I fit in, how I fit in, people. Because the truth is, you can go to different places and you can try to run from your problems, but you can't run from yourself. Mm-hmm. So, you know, you have to experiment and see like if it's your environment actually. And truthfully, as much as we could talk about the music industry and everything, I'm accountable as well. Obviously, I'm taking action. I'm doing things. I'm taking anger out. I'm doing whatever, not self-care, however you want to put it. You know what I'm saying? So like, I had to take accountability for my actions, for what I do, for what I say. So, you know, if something doesn't make me happy, like if a job doesn't make me happy, I got to quit. Like, you know what I'm saying? If things, you know, like if not, you're going to sit there and complain and whine and what is that going to do? You know?
That's true, man. That's true. Do you find it's easier to be a vegan in Hawaii than
not at all. I mean, living in different places.
Pig, man, they be roasting.
Yeah. No, they love their meat here. You know what I'm saying? In Boulder, Colorado, it was good to be a vegan. Like, I lived in Boulder, Colorado, and that's a very like I don't know, swingy.
I'm hip to Boulder, man. I'm very
it's one of those type of vibes, you know what I'm saying? But I like Boulder though. Boulder's a beautiful city. Colorado's a beautiful place overall. I spent a couple years there developing my company, learning like the vegan lifestyle there, like, you know, getting different things. But being here, you gotta cook. You gotta like cook most of your stuff. And I say realistically, I cook anyway, all of my food now. I've learned that's one of my passions. I love to cook. You know, it helps to keep the stress and anxiety, you know, reliever. So yeah, one day, you know, maybe I'll make a potluck for like, you know, old hip hop people or something.
I'm down, dude. I eat vegan foods all the time.
Yeah, I'm with it.
I know what the cannabis culture and climate is like in Colorado very well. What's it like in Hawaii?
Terrible. First off, there's only like in this specific island, I live on a big island, Kailua Kona, I think it's pronounced. So this specific island, there's only 2 dispensaries and medical, you know, like you have to have a med card. So it's not even recreational here.
On the other islands it is, or all of Hawaii?
I'm assuming, I don't know how these islands work. I just know the island I'm on. So the island I'm on, you can't, there's no recreational. And then on top of that, you know, even besides that, the people that smoking weed and growing weed, I mean, from what I've found thus far, it ain't that dank. You know what I'm saying? So like, yeah, I mean,
but probably not. Colorado is an upper echelon.
Yeah, Colorado is like the Manhattan of weed. I feel like Colorado, you're gonna find any kind of weed, every kind of weed, whatever you need. But here, it's just kind of like, you get what you get. So, you know, I got some fire right now though. Like I got some like what is this? If you can see it, oh no, it's terrible.
Smell it through the fucking Zoom, Donnie. I can smell it through the Zoom.
I got some golden lemons. It's pretty good. It's fire. But anyway, yeah, it's not that much of a choice though. So yeah.
You find more people are getting their bud, at least on your island, like the old-fashioned way, like black market.
Yeah.
Like, yeah. So all right.
An ounce of this costs $300.
Damn, that's expensive out there, bro.
It's insane. It's
so
insane.
Everything on islands is more expensive though because it's scarcity. You know,
that's the thing, and we can't get it in. So either you grow it, and they just don't have a lot of that here, or you know, like you said, it's whatever. So
what about the police? Like, do they treat bud pretty chill, or are they like dickheads about it?
They seem pretty chill. Like I got pulled over for the first time recently. I was on my
scooter, just burning.
Yeah, I was on my little scooter. I'll be on my moped through Hawaii. You know what I'm saying? So anyway, they pulled me over one day. I'm like just chilling, and it was like they called me on my phone. So they pulled me over. They didn't give me a ticket for the phone, which was chill. And then they only was like, yo, you got to come through for the insurance. But then as he was leaving, he was like, yo, he's like, you smell like loud, brother. it's like, he just left. I was like, I appreciate you. I was like, yeah, you just chill.
Yeah, that's better than, I mean, certain states, you know, they play with it like it's fucking crack or a gun.
Yeah, no, I mean, because to be real, he could have easily arrested me for being high. He could have gave me a DWI, you know what I'm saying? He could have been like, because I was baked. I was totally baked, you know what I'm saying? Like,
officer or whatever, dude.
Yeah. But
I bet you out there, like, have you ever seen the show Magnum PI from back in the day?
Yeah.
If you got a guest house, let me come stay in and I'll be Magnum PI, dude.
Yeah, nah, you got to bring the shirt, though. You got to bring the shirt.
I got 100 of these, baby. What size are you? Medium?